What is up, guys? So today we are doing a full shoulder workout. So we're gonna focus mostly on the medial delt and the rear delt, because when you're doing any type of pressing movement, that's gonna hit the front delt a lot. So most of you guys don't even need to do any direct front delt work. And what really makes that shoulder pop is gonna be hitting those medial delts. And of course, the rear delt, most people neglect. That's the most neglected one. So we're gonna be focusing on that as well. So let's get these gains. So reverse fly is the one that most people do, trying to hit their rear delts. And they're okay for hitting the rear delts, but you don't get as much activation as you do on a lot of other rear delt exercises. So one way you can help improve this though, is you don't want to have your arms completely straight in front of you. Ideally, you want to lower the seat a little bit and have your arms up, so that will allow you to hit the rear delt a little bit more. Right, so this bent over rear delt raise is going to give some of the greatest activation on the rear delts. So if you're really trying to focus purely on hitting your rear delts and targeting them, and this would be the thing to do. So you want to be bent over, chest up straight, and you don't have to actually drag on your legs. You just want to push backwards, have a slight bend in the elbow, focus on hitting those rear delts. And really feel them start to burn now. Out your traps, and that will make them unable to help as much with this exercise. So you don't want the traps to take over. You want this to be as rear delt as possible. So if your head is up, they're more likely to help out. So you tuck your chin, stretch out the traps, and then get these rear delt gains. If you don't have a barbell and you only have dumbbells, or you prefer dumbbells, you can also do them just like this on a bench. Once again, have your chin tucked in, rest your forehead on the bench, and just go all the way down, all the way back. And this will also give a great activation in the rear delts. You're not going to be able to go very heavy, so don't worry about doing super heavy weight. Just try to get that full stretch, squeeze with each rep. This is another good rear delt exercise, and it is better than your classic reverse flies for the rear delt. So basically you want to have a slight bend in the elbow, go all the way across and bringing it in close to your body, because that's what's going to allow you to activate the rear delt more. So control it on the way up, get that full stretch, squeeze it down, and then repeat. You don't want to be shrugging or twisting your body at all. Just smooth all the way through. And you don't want this to be a tricep exercise either, so you don't want your elbow to even really be moving at all. You just want to be locked in place, so that the only thing that's moving is your rear delt. All right, so now we have to get one hard set now for that high intensity. And if you don't like using a handle, you can grab it by the ball that they usually have. Or you could use like a wrist cuff, wrap a cuff around and do that too. Personally, I'm good with the handle, so that's what I use. So the form kind of broke down a little bit at the end. But that's what you want. A lot of people are so concerned with form that the second that it gets hard or their form breaks a little bit, they stop. But one of the biggest drivers of building muscle, of hypertrophy, is getting to that failure, pushing as hard as you can. So So if you stop just because, oh, my form isn't perfect, then you're going to be missing out on gains. That's not to say to only use bad form, but do as good a form as you can. And once it gets hard, you can break form just a little bit to really get that true intensity that's needed for hypertrophy. All right, so now we're doing different lateral raise variations for the medial delt. So machines are going to be better than any type of dumbbell that you can do, just because with dumbbell, when you're in the bottom part of the movement, that's when your delts are the strongest, but there's not a lot of tension on the delt at the bottom with dumbbells. However, when you're doing a machine or cable, you still got that tension here, and you have tension throughout the whole movement. So any type of machine or cable is usually going to be, not usually, it's always going to be better than a dumbbell. And also in this part of the movement, that's the lengthened part of the shoulder, where your shoulder is lengthened. This is when it's contracted, this is when it's stretched and lengthened. And so we know that the lengthened part of exercises is the most beneficial for building muscle. So if you can use a machine or cable instead of dumbbell, I would recommend it. Dumbbells aren't terrible, but machines are preferable. And this one right here, it's a decent one, but there's one that I like even better because it doesn't force you to use your wrist or your elbow to stabilize. And that exercise is machine lateral raise, because it lets you put all the pressure on your shoulder. It rests on your tricep mostly, so you don't even really need your wrist for this movement. Of course, you can use it for a little extra stabilization, and you don't got to use your elbow to stabilize. You can focus purely on powering with your shoulder. And once again, the benefit over dumbbells is this part of the movement, you still have tension on the muscle, which you do not have much of with a dumbbell. So that lets you to focus on this portion where the shoulder is the strongest and where it's in the lengthened position as well. So we're gonna get some heavier sets. This is just a little warm up. And get these gains. We're going heavier. I've been playing around with a little heavier weight, so probably not gonna get too many reps. But whatever I can get, plus some partials, we'll count that. Those last two I don't count. That was like 5% range of motion, but the other two partials will count that. How are we looking? How are we looking? Shoulder gains or what? Let's go. All right, and then we got the cable lateral raises. So once again, this is gonna be much better than dumbbell because you still have tension on the shoulder here. Meanwhile, if you were carrying a dumbbell right here, there would be no tension on the shoulder. Especially in this lengthened position, you can get that extra stretch on the shoulder, which is really where you're gonna get the most benefit in the stretched portion. So you can do these either in front or behind the back. It's really not gonna make that much of a difference. Just whatever feels comfortable. Some people even like to do it like between the legs. I don't know about all that, but I normally do them behind the back. So just get that good stretch, squeeze all the way up. Just really focus on that delt. Fuck. I tried to get a couple partials at the end, just for that extra intensity. All right, so that is the full shoulder day workout. And if you are curious about how to do some shoulder control, muscle control, I do have my shoulder control tutorial you can check out. So that is the full workout. Let me know what you guys think, what you want to see more of, whatever that may be. Leave a comment for the algorithm. I'd appreciate it. Much love, and as always, let's get these gains.